There were some very interesting comments. What is weird is the conflation or the conflating of the Voice and the Republic. And this is a dangerous area, which is kind of happening. There were some interesting articles in The Australian on the weekend, some terrific. Janet Albrechtson always writes superbly on The Voice. She forensically, Rita and James, goes through the legal ramifications of what The Voice means. She asks 10 pertinent questions in this week's Weekend Australian. I'll just mention 2 of them. The rest are all fairly legal, but these 2 questions alone, to me, sink the entire idea of The Voice. The first question is, what definition of Aboriginality will determine eligibility to vote for or to sit on this body, on The Voice? If you can't answer that, do not vote for it. The second question, which is number 10 on her list, which is what is it, and we've said this on this show many times, what is it specifically, and Jacinta Price has raised this point and others, what is it about The Voice that will make a difference in any way to addressing the tragic levels of Indigenous disadvantage, given that decades of lobby groups and others have failed to do anything?
And
Rita.
what she's highlighted is the absurdity of those who argue that this isn't race-based. Of course it's race-based. It's purely race-based.
Exactly.
The entire project is race-based. The way it's going to operate is race-based. Who qualifies to participate, whether it's voting or running, is I mean, I just find it astonishing that anybody, I mean, you can support this race-based referendum if you want. You could say it's justified, it's good for the country, but please don't insult the Australian public by saying this isn't race-based when it is purely race-based. And, you know, is Bruce Pascoe going to be able to vote for this?
Of course he is.
Right, yeah. But Rita, Rowan, I need to pull you up on this here because you left out the second half of one of her questions, which I think is the most key thing here. She also said, can you guarantee that Parliament, not the High Court, will in all cases ultimately determine who is eligible to vote or sit on the body called The Voice? To me, this is the most important question because otherwise you're talking about this thing bolted onto the Constitution outside of and, in fact, above Parliament with only the High Court and not Parliament, an elected body, but a High Court, which, you know, depending on who the judges are on the day, can be very activist indeed. This, to me, is the biggest problem with this whole idea. Take it outside of Parliament and you've got a disaster.